something typically we do in camp is just shut them down at times with their arms. So that's all that was.
You weren't hiding him from the rest of the world?
We were not.
Ryan, how do you decide what days you need to do that with quarterbacks?
It just depends on kind of their how much they've been throwing, how much we've been throwing, and how tired they get. So we just kind of rely on them.
Did it matter if the Big Ten Network was here and they'd be broadcasting it across the nation around the world?
I wish I could orchestrate everything like that, but that's just how it goes.
Ryan, how was Quinn started? First couple workouts that you've been able to get him into some. How's he picking it up?
I mean, just learning where to go and where the locker room is and everything else.
Ryan.
Obviously, if CJ's not out there throwing today, jabbing Tyler, getting more
right.
reps, just what are you continuing to see from those guys as they continue to compete?
Yeah, what a great opportunity today for them to really step up and take reps with the ones, and big evaluation this week for those guys as well. And now that we got a few reps this week with the ones, and then by Friday, I think we need to find out who's game ready, and so this is a big week for everybody, but certainly those guys as well.
Farrah was again wearing a baseball cap. Where is he? His health?
Yeah, he's going to be practicing here real soon.
Have you decided what you're going to do with that offensive line yet? Whether he's going to stay at guard?
Nah, we're going to kind of get to the end of the week, and then we'll kind of sit down, and that's when a lot of hard decisions have to be made. But very, very impressed with those guys. I think we've created some depth there and some versatility at different positions. And again, a couple more practices here this week, and then we'll kind of decide how we start to prepare for Minnesota.
Seems like Denzel Burke and Jalen Johnson were having their names called out there a lot today. What are you seeing from those two freshmen?
Yeah, I don't know if Quinn, they got pictures of Quinn on the microphone, back in the office somewhere, but they get called out a lot. I don't know if it's for making plays or if they got blackmail on Quinn, but no, they've been making a lot of great plays. They've been, I got to give them a lot of credit. They've been challenging a lot of routes. It's been one of the more competitive preseasons we've had, and if you can cover Chris and Garrett and those guys, then you can have a lot of confidence. You can cover a lot of guys in the country. So I just like the competitive spirit of a lot of those guys back there.
When you've watched video of your practices, are you pleasantly surprised or, encouraged by what you're seeing from the defense from those guys?
I am. Yeah, for sure.
What's just jumping out at you?
Just the competitive nature. It's every ball's contested. I think that the D-line has done a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterbacks. I think just across the board, the one-on-one matchups have been competitive this preseason. And so, that's got to lead you to believe that it's going to, lead to a promising season. We'll see. Guys still have to play and step up, but there's been a lot of really good practices, a lot of physicality. I think that's the other part of this preseason that I've been impressed with is how hard we've practiced. And that was another reason we took the pads off today.
Yeah. Are you going to award a Block O jersey like you did last year with Jonathan Cooper? Do you still have that in mind?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. Patrick, go ahead.
Ryan.
You going to ask who it was?
I was going. Is it like in the camp, the guy?
Pretty soon, the next week or so.
Ryan, with Quinn, obviously, he didn't go through everything that some of the other quarterbacks were.
Right.
How do you work him in? And I know he's still learning where everything is, but how do you work him in so that he does get reps, but the other guys that you have been here are also getting there? How does that kind of work?
There's just so much for him to learn in such a short period of time. Usually we have months upon months of time to prepare them before they even step on the field. That's just showed up and learning formations, learning everything like that. So it's just individual drills, and we keep him after practice and try to teach him the offense, but we're certainly not just going to throw him in there. That's not fair to him, and also, it's not fair to the other guys. If he doesn't know where things are, he can get somebody hurt. So, but he'll pick it up quick, and he's learning, and I think the guys are doing a good job of helping him along because I think they understand this is a very unique situation.
Austin, over here to the right. Ryan, there was just a handful of high-profile guys that were down here on this end. You don't have to address them specifically, but are there any long-term or potential game missing injury that could?
No, not that I can forecast. No, this is the third week of camp, and we're battered and bruised. And I got to give there's some guys out there that are working through some injuries right now. A lot of credit, and we're a lot of guys have been practicing hard and taping up their ankles and their wrists and everything like that. That's part of camp, and if they can't go, then they can't go, and that's part of the pit. Yeah.
Bill, go ahead. We just have time for a couple more guys. Bill?
Ryan, I know, as Austin said, a lot of guys who maybe would be defensive starters weren't out there today, but it did seem like every time Quinn got on the mic and said first team D, there was a different 11 guys out there. How fluid is all that right now? And I guess, is it a good thing that you have that many guys that can put out there with first team?
I think it's twofold. I think there is some depth being built across the board on defense, but you also got to have your guys, and you got to have the guys that play, and eventually, someone's got to get out there and make it happen. So I think there's a couple things going on. I think one, there's depth being built, but also, by the end of the week, we got to find out who those guys are when we kick off, against Minnesota in that first round, first play. Who's going to be out there, and who are we counting on? So I'm excited because I think we do have a lot of options there, and I think guys have practiced well.
And last question over here, Nathan.
There's been so much attention on this receiving core, these quarterbacks. What do you need out of a running back in this offense?
I mean, the first thing with the running back is they have to take care of the football. So important in this first game that we take care of the football on offense. The second thing is, they have to run physical. Runs of 3 got to turn into 5 and 6. And the last thing is, how many guys can you make miss when it gets to the second level? What can you turn in? Can you turn good into great? Can you turn a gain of 7 into a gain of 80? And those are the things we're looking for in the run game. In the pass game, they got to be able to protect, be strong. I've been very, very impressed with our pass protection at running back. Really been solid. And then they, whatever they can do out of the backfield in terms of route running and pass catching is obviously important as well.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.